16th at about 11:45 a.m., the residence of 9021 Chaparral Drive was incinerated. Residence was loaded with an estimated 60 pounds of explosives and precursor explosive materials. Preliminary reports indicate a successful conclusion to this dangerous operation. And I'm very happy to relate that there were no reported civilian or public safety personnel injuries as a result of the incineration. I'm also pleased to tell you that no other structures, homes, or personal property was damaged or destroyed other than the intended residence. Due to the extensive planning of this operation, we were able to spare Mr. East's outbuildings and his 3 vehicles that were at the location of 9021 Chaparral. As of now, there have been no report of collateral damage to the 3 residents in the immediate area of the Chaparral Drive residence, and operational personnel were in constant contact with the property owners throughout the incineration process. On February 16th, at about 2:30 in the morning, just before, a few hours before the burn incineration started, the suspect, D. Ray East, and his attorney met with investigators for a formal interview. Mr. East was cooperative and gave investigators valuable information regarding the volatile contents of his home. Mr. East told investigators there was a significant amount of HMDT, which is a very sensitive and volatile explosive, especially when it is a homemade explosive. There was mercury fulminate there, again, which is another dangerous and sensitive explosive. Over 20 pounds of gunpowder and thousands of shotgun shell primers amongst the suspected chemicals and precursor materials that were there. Now, in itself, gunpowder and black powder and shotgun shell primers are not illegal, but there was also the absence of cartridge reloading equipment there along with these other explosives. This information confirmed what our bomb experts suspected, validating their expertise, extensive training, and the recommendation to use extreme caution. Bomb experts said this was the worst case of homemade explosives and precursor materials they had seen. About 7 hours before the incineration of his home, Mr. East provided additional information and details to the investigators. He was represented by his attorney. Mr. East wanted to provide this information for the safety reasons of personnel and public safety. Mr. East admitted and confirmed that he was making explosives. He admitted to having explosives and explosive precursor materials in the home. He admitted to making the explosives with precursor materials that he had. He was remorseful for causing the incident and disrupting the lives of so many people. He wanted to supply the information to investigators to assist personnel in reducing the dangers to our staff and the other personnel that were on the scene and for the residents as well. Statements in the media by Mr. East's attorney were grossly inaccurate and misrepresented the contents of the home and the accuracy of the bomb experts who actually made an actual visual assessment of the scene. The interview with Mr. East on the 16th was completed at about 4 in the morning. Mr. East stated he had the following items inside of his bedroom. I'm not going to cover every item, but I am going to cover the more significant items. He admitted to having 4 pounds of tannerite. Tannerite is an explosive. The bomb experts did not know if there was tannerite in that room, but they suspected that there could be. He admitted that there was an ounce of mercury fulminate. Again, mercury fulminate is sensitive and highly explosive. The bomb experts did not know if there was mercury fulminate in there, but they figured that there was. There was 5 pounds of carbon material, 5 pounds of sulfur material, and when combined with potassium nitrate, that is, you're able to make homemade black powder. Again, the 20 pounds of potassium chlorate, one of the precursors. The bomb experts estimated there was 30 pounds. Not too bad from visual examination and a photograph. Mr. East said there was 20 pounds of smokeless gunpowder, 2 pounds of homemade black powder, and remember there was the other 10 pounds of material to make more black powder there. The bomb experts estimated there was over 20 pounds of various gunpowders. So they underestimated, but not too bad for a visual examination. Mr. East admitted there was 5 containers of HMTD. And HMTD is a very high explosive, very sensitive, very volatile, and it can be have a reaction and go off with the slightest movement, especially when it's homemade. Even highly skilled bomb technicians and chemists only deal with this stuff in 1 gram or less increments. 1 gram is if you take a small packet of sugar that's in a restaurant, that is 1 gram in weight. So you have some idea of it because we've all seen those packets. He admitted there was 5 containers of HMDT with approximately 2 ounces of HMTD in each container for a total of 10 ounces. There was an error that was in the paper that said there was 10 grams. 10 grams is a significant amount of HMTD, but 10 ounces is approximately 300 grams, a very significant amount of that explosive. There was also 5 homemade explosives, blasting caps, made with that mercury fulminate. The bomb techs estimated there was 1, but again, there was a lot of things they couldn't see in these rooms. They did know that